in. Let me just make sure that there's no sound on here. So coming into ourselves, coming into our cells, and feeling what it feels like to be in here. I am going to start seated. Everything in class is as usual. You take it or leave it, do what you want to do, don't do what you don't want to do, and move or don't move as feels good in your body. So you have the freedom to really be in your body in a way that feels sustainable, right? The sustainable body where we actually are in harmony with ourselves, not fighting against ourselves and not aggressive and not judging. It's really hard to come into that space, I think, especially in our culture, to be non-judgmental. No matter how much I do this practice, I still find myself in my outer life, in my world, going, oh, what? Why did I say that? Why did I do that? Why did it happen that way? And so I just want to come in today with a lot of equanimity and kindness for my own body. And here we are, we're showing up for ourselves. So really bringing in, I don't know, when I think about that, it gives me warmth in my heart to feel like, oh, it's okay. Here I am. I'm here with myself and it's not a problem. It's okay. So coming into however you feel in your body right now and offering yourself it's okay. It's okay however you are. It's okay whatever's going on. It's okay even if it's not okay. But just in this moment, it's okay to be who you are here on the planet exactly as you are without having to change or fix anything. And breathing into that. And trusting that on some level, your body really knows what it needs. Your body really has life force and capacity to be really recapitulating your own existence, right? Breathing, the blood is flowing. You're not going to die immediately, right? We're all going to die at some point, but right in this moment, we're alive and our body knows how to do that, how to stay alive. So allowing ourselves to rest into the trust that our body actually knows what it's doing in a lot of ways and has tremendous wisdom and intelligence. And when we can tap into that and come to our body from an experiential place, not a judgmental place, but coming into the experience of being in our body and noticing what that is, we can be kinder, maybe, and more gentle with ourselves. So, kindness and gentleness for ourselves and for ourselves. Inviting yourself to inhale, taking in whatever you need to take in, and exhale, letting go of anything you need to let go of. Feeling the natural rhythm of growing and shrinking with the breath that's happening in your body, that's happening in your cells. Breathing on a cellular level is happening all the time. We don't have to think about it. Our body knows. So allowing ourselves to rest into the wisdom of our body. And it might be that your thinking mind is thinking a lot of things and there's a lot of stories going on and a lot of excitement or interpretation, a lot of things happening up there. That's fine. Just allow that to be like a flow of a river going by. And if possible, just tune back into sensation whenever you can. So letting go of the story, even though it can be there in all its glory, but tuning into what it actually feels like to be in your body, what it feels like to have that natural growing and shrinking with the breath happening. And so for me, I'm just going to move a little bit more with the growing and shrinking, just bringing it in. So I'm expanding slightly on the inhale and releasing on the exhale, coming down to the planet, coming down to earth. If you're laying down, you might just feel your body rise a little bit on the inhale and then fall a little on the exhale. So this natural sense of growing and shrinking with the breath. that's happening our whole life. Maybe exaggerating it a little bit if that feels good. Tuning into the breath, tuning into the air. And the air is inside of us as we breathe, and the air is outside of us. And we're all here breathing the same air. Our skin breathes. What does it feel like to be in your skin? Sometimes we talk about the skin as being like the container for our body. So, what is the container of your body like? And then inside of that are the contents. It's a very sort of objectifying way of thinking about yourself, but it might feel different to take that in as an experience, the contents and the container, feeling into that, which might bring you to that surface area of your body, feeling whatever parts of you are touching something like the ground or your skin, or even touching yourself, having your hands somewhere on your body, parts of your body that are touching other parts. My calf is touching my hamstring. The roof of my mouth, the upper mouth is touching the lower mouth. Opening up to this sort of sea of sensation that's possible, just noticing what it's like to be in your body right now with as much kindness and acceptance as possible. And inviting in any kind of movement that feels good. I'm getting a little into the head tail connection, feeling what it is to be a vertebrate, a creature with a spine. And I've got a little pea pod also joining in. Cat's spine can really elongate. It's like a spring, which allows them to really jump and to land. And our spine also has this capacity to elongate and have some springiness as well. Not as much as most cats, but we can breathe into that, finding that buoyancy of our spinal cord and the vertebrae and discs in our body. And as we micro move, we're just allowing those little discs, even the breath can do this, to have more resilience, more breath, more capacity for movement, readjusting to feel supported and supportive. So inviting that in. Sometimes when I go into my own sensation, there is so much to feel that it can be overwhelming. If that is the case, if it's so that for me, usually it's physical sensation, like it's like a buzz that's so strong. And I'm like, whoa. Then sometimes I change into the sense of hearing and just really start to listen to things and hear how sounds around me are manifesting in my awareness. So if it becomes too much, always allow yourself to shift into a different sense gate or sensory awareness that is more acceptable. Also, as we are building these connections, these synapses, this body mind awareness taking more life force in our bodies, we're working with the plasticity of our brain, with the plasticity even of our movement and our being, the capacity to change, right? The capacity for shifting. So it can be destabilizing. And that is when things change, when we start to feel like, oh, this feels different than what I was before or how I was feeling before. Now I'm noticing something different. So that can be scary or uncomfortable, but it can also feel good. And sometimes it's both of those things, all those things happening at the same time. Like, oh, all that stuff I've been trying not to feel. Now I'm letting it kind of come through in sensation. It might be a lifetime of material, or it might be something that happened yesterday or has been going on in the recent past. So, what I want to offer is that we bring our heart into the situation so that our compassion, our empathy is there with us. And imagining that everyone in this practice also is there with their compassion and their empathy. So, it's much greater than just us alone. There's a support within the field. We are being informed by the field, and we're also forming the field. We're in this symbiotic relationship, sort of energetically, with the practice, with the other people doing the practice, with this sort of wavelength of being, with the creatures, with the animals around us, with the plants, with the environment. And our thoughts about ourselves, our heart, our mind, our guts coming together in an alignment can be really relieving. It can also, yeah, provide a lot more ease in being. But sometimes there's some stuff to comb through on the way there. What is it like to feel the truth of what's going on in your physical sensation in your body? And that truth is a shifting field as well. It's not like there's just one thing. It's not even a thing. Energy patterns moving through us, moving with us. Inviting micro movement, inviting breath to create a more vital ecology within our own system. Leaning into vibrant health. And we can just send that prayer for vibrant health to those around us as well. Right? A little bit of metta. When we can be more gentle in our experience with ourselves, the world benefits. Those around us benefit. We have more space. So let's add in a breath. It's going to be a puffed O. So the breath sound, I'm going to come close to the camera. It's like this. It's not going to be with a vocal cord. It's just going to be. And I'm kind of letting my mouth open and close a little bit just to get some movement in the muscles, the O-ring muscle of my mouth, which is then also ideally going to give the rest of the sphincter muscles in my body a little bit of permission to undulate, to have a little bit more freedom. So we're working towards more freedom in our bodies, less grippiness, less rigidity. You can also let your cheeks puff up with your O so that you're getting some movement in your face, letting go of the pattern of personality, the mask that we present to the world, and just letting yourself be an organic living creature. If you want to add a vocal sound, you can. You can add the O, so it would be like feel free to take that. It'll take you maybe deeper interior, I feel like, and the for me, it's a little bit more letting go in the exterior. So play with that, those two sounds in whatever way feels interesting. I'm going to get down onto the floor. And also for the people in my room, if you want to get a little more gut body, feel free to gurgle a little bit of spit in the back of your throat. So puffed O, inviting the fluidity and fluency of air, letting go of anything you're ready to let go of, and inviting in any sustenance, any nourishment that you need just from the atmosphere, from the field of us working together. Feel free to add sound to your O. When we add the vocal sound, it's going to vibrate your tissue more. So the fascia, the fluids in your body, all the stuff is going to have more vibration. Playing with it, allowing your body to move in any way that feels good, hydrating tissue, releasing tension, and allowing your movement and whatever is underneath you to massage out the surface of your body as well. So as I move slightly from side to side, I'm getting a massage from the floor. I said that when I do the aspirated no vocal cord, oh, that I felt more exterior, but as soon as I close my eyes, it takes it right inside. Feel free to close your eyes and just go into your own experience, feeling what it feels like to be in there, inviting your body to express in any way that feels good to you. Bringing in the freedom and the free flow of the breath, of that air quality. Very creative and not grippy at all. It's very light, very easy. It can be, this is a weird thing, it can be strong and light at the same time. And by that, I mean there can be strength behind the breath, but there's no huge density, right? So it can be strong, but still there's a lightness to it. So we're not limiting it in its expression, just giving it freedom to express. You could think about how the wind carves out the sands in the desert or moves the leaves of the trees or even ripples on water. We can never see the air, but we can see how it moves other things and we can feel it. Letting yourself explore with the breath, exploring being with the breath and allowing your body to move, giving yourself full permission to move, to not move, to explore what it feels like to be in this physical body on earth, right? We get the earthiness in our bones. The relationship to gravity is telling us about earth all the time. And the structure of our body is very earthy. So connecting this air, freedom, lightness with this sort of density and material quality form of the earthiness of our body, the fibrousness. And maybe you can even without making the breath sound with the puffed O, it's possible to hear your breath from inside your head, especially if you're wearing earbuds. But even without, you can still often, if you tune to it, listen to the sound of your own breath coming and going. Deeply accepting yourself, deeply accepting your experience of being. And giving yourself permission to respond to being human in whatever ways come out for you, right? All the things that happen, the whole story of everything. It's there in your body. I think somebody, I can't remember who said it, but I just heard somebody recently say something like our bodies are the whole, the written history of our life. So tuning into that with real compassion, with kindness and acceptance. Or you can try resisting too. You can feel what that feels like. So sometimes it feels good to push, to resist, to fight. That also can let us feel alive, right? Feeling into that. I'm going to add music to play with. This is going to be Jeff Gersh. I'm going with, again, Ambient Fields, album number 2, song 1. I just love this one. I was listening to 4 yesterday, which is also great, but this is very gentle. Letting the movement and the sound, the vibration of sound, inform your experience. And by inform, create the form of your experience. As if you are the sound, as if you are the breath. Tuning into the natural flows of your body. And allowing them to take up space in your experience. Coming into awareness. Inviting in the ripples and waves of the fluid body. We are bodies of water. Inviting in curiosity and exploration. And movement might come with a little bit of a nudge. It might not just arise spontaneously, but inviting in the improvisation of being a fluid body in the flow of life. In the continuum work, they talk a lot about wave-like and tentacle movement. If you were an octopus, what would you do? If you had never learned how to move in any way and you arrived in this body, how would you figure it out? Giving yourself space to be playful. To make movement that is ugly and weird and curious. Coming in with enough freedom, not having to fix something or solve a problem inside, but just allowing yourself to be and move or not move. Imagining your nervous system suspended inside of this body of water, right? Supported, packed in there by the water, the gelatinous glycoaminoglycans, the extracellular matrix, all of this stuff, the fascia. A very intelligent, organic, living, biomorphic system. if we could come into our nervous system feeling that support, feeling supported, and allowing the micro movement to help support even more, so that there's three-dimensionality of our bodies. Got the pea pod here, little Manx kitty. So as I'm in my experience, like the pea pod kind of comes and bumps into me, and she's in my experience too. She's part of it. I don't need to fight against having another creature in my world. So sometimes this is a practice that I try and do with my partner, with my mom, with the people in my life, of treat them with the same kindness I would treat the kitten coming into my cat practice. And if I needed a bigger boundary, I could put her outside of the room. But I like having them, the little life force of the cats orbiting the situation. It doesn't take me out of my own experience or my awareness of myself or my body. Sometimes I feel like when we have pain patterns or even thoughts that are painful, sometimes we just loop them and then they keep kind of looping and enforcing themselves. So this is sort of an invitation to massage out what's around those patterns so that there's a little bit more spaciousness and maybe they can let go. So our nervous system isn't reinforcing a pain pattern, or our mind isn't reinforcing something that's painful, but finding a little bit more spaciousness outside of that. Letting the body move, letting yourself move in ways that feel sustainable. Sustainable for long-term nourishment and flourishing. Not just nourishing, but flourishing. sometimes we don't like, we feel like we're getting what we deserve and this is enough and I don't need more than that. And I mean, like in terms of health and vitality. And then if we do get more vitality, it can destabilize us and we're like, whoa, what's going on? So we want to be very slow and gentle with how things shift and change in our body in these somatic practices. No hurry, slow and steady. Slow and spacious. And let's just take a few minutes to process the processing. So it can be that we start to break up some old material that needs to continue to move through. So it's good to drink a lot of water and also to, or at least enough water to give yourself a chance to process whatever is processing. Like it's like Shavasana, like give it the time. And that resting in the silence or the stillness of your own awareness. Permission to rest. You even have permission to fall asleep during this practice. If you are falling asleep, you probably need more sleep. We live in a culture that kind of short circuits that, right? Oh, that must do more, must have more coffee, must be more active. But really, we need to rest and let it go. Let the world die away while we go into the dreamland. So if that's happening to you while you're in these practices, it's totally fine. Let it happen. You don't need to stay awake here. And sometimes it is that the deeper you go, the more you need to rest afterwards because you're starting to really process stuff that has been hanging out in the system for a while. So I am going to stop the live stream. If you made it, I know there's at least one or two people out there. Nice to see you as a number on a screen. Bravo for